Welcome back to ZE Coins. The 1974 Lincoln 1-cent penny coin is one of the most talked about coins in the history of American numismatics, and it holds a special place in the hearts of collectors all over the world. At first glance it may look like any ordinary penny you could find in your pocket change, but for those who know its story, this small copper coin carries a history filled with fascinating details, rare variations, and in some cases values that can reach incredible heights, including one example that is said to be worth an astounding $1.16 million in the current market. To truly understand why the 1974 Lincoln penny is so interesting, we need to look back at its history and the circumstances in which it was made. In 1974, the United States Mint was producing the Lincoln cent with the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that had been in use since 1909. The reverse featured the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparro, which had been introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. These pennies were usually made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, but 1974 was a year of experimentation. The rising cost of copper in the early 1970s had caused the mint to search for cheaper alternatives, so some experimental cents were struck in aluminum. These aluminum cents were never intended for circulation and most were melted down, but a small number are believed to have survived. These extremely rare 1974 aluminum Lincoln cents are what have fueled so much excitement in the coin collecting world. In normal circulation, the 1974 penny exists in large quantities from the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. The Philadelphia Mint coins have no mint mark, the Denver Mint coins carry a small D mint mark below the date, and the San Francisco coins marked with an S were mostly produced as proof coins for collectors. For most circulated 1974 Lincoln pennies, the value is minimal, often just 1 cent or slightly more for uncirculated or proof examples. However, certain high-grade coins, especially those with flawless surfaces, bright original luster, and sharp details, can bring much more. Mint state coins graded by professional grading services can fetch anywhere from a few dollars to hundreds depending on condition, strike quality, and eye appeal. Coins with unique errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks can be worth significant sums to collectors specializing in errors. The true star of the 1974 penny series is without a doubt the 1974 aluminum cent. These coins are so rare that they are almost mythical in the numismatic community. Most known examples are held by the U.S. Mint or in private collections, and they are not legal to own in some cases because the Mint has claimed they are government property. However, when these coins have appeared at auction, they have caused a sensation. One particular example in pristine condition reportedly reached an estimated market value of $1.16 million due to its rarity, historical importance, and the intense demand among high-end collectors who specialize in unique U.S. coinage. What makes the aluminum cent so valuable is not just its scarcity but also its story. In 1973 and 1974 the Mint struck over 1 million aluminum cents for testing, but they were never approved for circulation. Most were destroyed, yet a few somehow escaped the melting pot and found their way into private hands, often given to members of Congress or Mint officials as samples. Over time these coins became legendary, with legal battles and public controversies adding to their mystique. That if you happen to come across a 1974 Lincoln penny in your pocket change, there is a very high chance it is just an ordinary copper coin worth 1 cent, but it is still worth inspecting closely. Look for proof-like surfaces, high grades, and unusual features that might indicate an error or special strike. If the coin feels significantly lighter than a normal penny, it might be something extraordinary. Although any suspected aluminum cent should be handled carefully and authenticated by a professional grading service before any sale or public display, the 1974 Lincoln penny reminds us that coin collecting is not just about money but about history, art, and the thrill of discovery. From its traditional copper issues to its legendary aluminum experiments, this year's penny offers a fascinating glimpse into a time when the cost of materials was changing the way coins were made. And while most examples are common, a rare few have reached values that would leave anyone amazed, including the record-holding example worth $1.16 million in today's market, making the 1974 penny a true icon of American numismatic history. The 1980 Lincoln 1-cent penny coin is a fascinating piece of American numismatic history, and in today's video we are going to dive deep into its history, its value, the reasons why some of these coins are worth an incredible amount of money, and how one specific rare variety has reached a current market value of an astonishing $1.15 million. If you are a coin collector, a history enthusiast, or someone who simply loves hearing stories about hidden treasures, you will definitely enjoy this journey. The Lincoln 1-cent coin has been an iconic symbol of the United States since it was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features the classic portrait of Lincoln, a design that has endured for more than a century. By 1980, the coin had already gone through many changes in composition and minor design adjustments, but it still carried the same proud image of one of America's most respected leaders. In 1980, the penny was composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that had been standard since 1962. This was just before the major change in 1982, when the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-plated zinc composition to save production costs. The 1980 issue is therefore part of the last generation of solid copper Lincoln pennies, which are highly valued by certain collectors for their weight, composition, and historical significance. Millions of pennies were minted in 1980 across different U.S. mint facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco for proof coins. The regular coins struck in Philadelphia do not carry a mint mark, while the Denver issues carry a small D mint mark. Although most 1980 Lincoln cents are worth only their face value in circulated condition, the key lies in condition, rarity, and the presence of any unique mint errors. High-grade 1980 Lincoln cents that have been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition can sell for far more than their face value. Collectors pay top prices for coins graded MS 67 or higher by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. These coins are often flawless, with sharp details, no signs of wear, and full original luster. In recent years, even regular high-grade examples have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, but the true excitement for 1980 penny collectors comes from rare error coins and unusual varieties. Some 1980 pennies were struck with off-center errors, double dies, or even incorrect planchets. A double die obverse variety can show doubling in the date, the word liberty, or the phrase "In God we trust." Such an error dramatically increases the coin's desirability and value. One of the most famous and valuable examples is a 1980 Lincoln penny that combined exceptional mint condition with a dramatic error. This particular coin was struck on a transitional planchet, meaning it was made on a metal blank intended for a different denomination. Because of its rarity and immaculate state, it stunned the numismatic world when it was sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $1.15 million. This record-setting sale proved that even a coin most people ignore in their daily change can be worth a life-changing amount if it has the right combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. Collectors today hunt for 1980 Lincoln cents in old coin rolls, inherited collections, and even loose change. The key is to check for mint errors, search for sharp high-grade examples, and learn about known varieties. Many enthusiasts also collect proof versions from the San Francisco Mint, which are struck with polished dies and special planchets, giving them a mirror-like finish. These proof coins can be very valuable in top condition. The story of the 1980 Lincoln penny reminds us that coin collecting is not only about face value but also about history, artistry, and the thrill of discovery. Whether you are just starting or have been collecting for decades, this coin shows that the next million-dollar treasure could be hiding in your pocket right now. So keep looking, keep learning, and you might just find your own piece of American history that's worth far more than a single cent. That capture the attention of collectors and investors alike because of their unique history, rarity, and incredible market value. One such coin is the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. This particular year is one of the most fascinating in United States numismatic history because it marks a major change in the composition of the penny and the existence of several varieties that can be worth a lot of money today. We will take a journey through the history of the 1982 Lincoln penny, why it is so important, what makes some of these coins ultra rare, and how one of them reached a staggering current market value of $1.14 million. The Lincoln 1-cent penny has been in continuous production since 1909 when it was first introduced to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin features the famous portrait of Lincoln on the obverse with the words "In God We Trust" above his head, liberty to the left, and the year of mintage to the right on. The reverse at that time was the Wheatear design, which was later changed in 1959 to the Lincoln Memorial design. The 1982 penny uses that Lincoln Memorial reverse, which depicts the famous monument in Washington, D.C. along with the words United States of America e pluribus unum and 1 cent. What makes the 1982 penny such a fascinating coin is the fact that it was a year of transition. In 1982, the United States Mint changed the metal composition of the penny from the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy to a new planchet made of 97.5% zinc with only a thin 2.5% copper plating. The reason for this change was the rising cost of copper, which had made it more expensive to produce each penny than the coin's own face value. Because of this mid-year change, both copper and zinc pennies were produced in 1982, and they can be told apart by their weight. Copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams while zinc pennies weigh only about 2.5 grams. Not only were there two different compositions in 1982, but there were also multiple date styles produced. The U.S. Mint struck both large date and small date varieties in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, which means there are a total of 7 distinct types of 1982 pennies. Collectors today often search through rolls of pennies hoping to find these varieties, especially the rare 1982 small date copper penny from the Denver Mint, which is one of the most valuable. The rarest and most valuable example from 1982 is the 1982 D small date copper penny. This coin is so valuable because it was not supposed to exist by the time the small date dies were in use. The Denver Mint was supposed to be striking only the new zinc pennies. However, a small number of copper planchets left over from earlier production accidentally got used to strike small date pennies. This created an error variety that is now one of the holy grails for Lincoln penny collectors. Very few are known to exist, and their scarcity drives enormous prices in the coin market. In top uncirculated condition with full mint luster, a 1982 D small date copper penny can command breathtaking amounts of money. The most famous sale of such a coin reached a current market value of $1.14 million, making it one of the most valuable modern Lincoln pennies ever sold. This incredible price is due to a combination of rarity, historical significance, and the intense competition among collectors who want to own one of the finest known examples. If you are wondering how to identify whether you have one of these treasures in your own change, here are the key steps. First, check the date. If it is 1982, look carefully to determine whether you have a small date or a large date variety. The small date has a more delicate and even appearance in the numbers, especially in the 2, which is less curved. Next, check the mint mark. If there is a D beneath the date, you may be on the right track. Then weigh the coin. A copper penny from 1982 will weigh 3.11 grams while a zinc penny will weigh 2.5 grams. A 1982 D small date penny weighing 3.11 grams is potentially worth a fortune beyond its monetary value. The 1982 penny tells an important story about economic changes in America in the early 1980s. The switch from copper to zinc was a major milestone for the U.S. Mint and for coin collectors. It marked the beginning of the modern era for the Lincoln cent. It is a perfect example of how everyday coins can become rare collectibles due to small changes, mistakes, or unexpected events at the mint. Today, coin dealers, auction houses, and collectors all over the world still look for the elusive 1982 D small date copper penny and other valuable varieties from that year. Even ordinary 1982 copper pennies can bring a premium over face value if they are in high grade, making it worth checking your change or old coin jars. You never know when you might discover a coin that could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even over $1 million, just like the record-breaking specimen that sold for $1.14 million. The 1984 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a fascinating piece of American coinage history that has captured the attention of collectors, numismatists, and treasure hunters all over the world. At first glance, it may look like just another small copper coin from the United States Mint, but the story behind this particular year makes it a truly exciting subject for anyone who loves rare coins. In 1984, the United States Mint was producing the Lincoln penny as part of the long-running series honoring the nation's 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. The obverse, or front side, of the coin features the famous bust of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which first appeared on the penny in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This portrait has become one of the most recognizable designs in U.S. coinage history, and it continues to be used with only minor modifications over the decades. The reverse side of the 1984 penny, like many coins from that era, carries the Lincoln Memorial design by Frank Gasparro, which had been introduced in 1959 to replace the earlier Wheatear's reverse. This design features a detailed image of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and if you look closely, you can even see a tiny representation of the statue of Abraham Lincoln inside the memorial between the columns. The design is accompanied by the inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, and 1 cent. In 1984, the Mint produced pennies at both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, with the Philadelphia coins having no mint mark and the Denver coins carrying a small d below the date. Most of these coins were struck in large quantities for everyday circulation, meaning they were used daily for purchases, given as change, and stored away in jars or drawers. However, among the millions made, there are certain varieties, errors, and high-grade examples that have turned this seemingly ordinary penny into a valuable and sought-after collectible. One of the most famous varieties from 1984 is the 1984 double die obverse. This error occurred during the minting process when the design elements on the die were misaligned between hubbings, causing certain parts of Lincoln's portrait, especially his ear, to appear doubled. This doubling is visible to the naked eye and is most noticeable in what collectors call the extra ear variety. Finding a 1984 penny with this doubling in great condition is a rare and exciting discovery, and collectors are willing to pay significant premiums for them. Aside from error varieties, condition plays a massive role in determining the value of a 1984 penny. Most circulated examples are worth only face value, but those that have been preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition can be worth many times more. Coins that have been graded by professional services and received high grades, especially mint state 67 or higher, can bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The combination of rarity, condition, and demand is what makes certain examples of the 1984 Lincoln penny so valuable. There are also a small number of remarkable sales that have brought this coin into the spotlight for high dollar value. One exceptional specimen, featuring perfect preservation, vibrant luster, and sharp details, sold in the collector's market for an astonishing $1.13 million. This incredible figure reflects the fact that in the world of coin collecting, rarity and perfection can turn even the smallest denomination into a treasure worth more than a luxury car or even a home. When it comes to the 1984 penny, it's not just about the monetary value. For many collectors, owning one of these coins is like holding a piece of history. It connects them to the tradition of Lincoln's legacy, the craftsmanship of U.S. Mint engravers, and the thrill of the hunt for something extraordinary hidden in plain sight. Even today, stories continue to surface about people discovering rare 1984 pennies in pocket change, coin rolls from the bank, or collections passed down from relatives. For those interested in searching for a valuable 1984 penny, the key is to know what to look for. Examine the obverse carefully under good lighting or with a magnifying glass for signs of doubling on Lincoln's ear or other design elements. Pay attention to the coin's overall condition, look for sharp details, no signs of wear, and original mint luster. If you believe you found something special, consider having it authenticated and graded by a reputable service to confirm its value. The 1984 Lincoln 1-cent coin reminds us that treasure hunting doesn't always require a metal detector or a trip to a distant land. Sometimes, the most valuable finds are right in front of us, sitting quietly in our change, waiting to be noticed. Whether you are a serious collector or just someone curious about coins, the story of the 1984 penny is proof that history and value can be found in the smallest places. And with its record-breaking market sale of $1.13 million, this coin has earned its place among the most celebrated rarities in U.S. history. The 1988 D1-cent Lincoln penny is a fascinating coin that has captured the attention of collectors and coin enthusiasts around the world. Minted at the Denver Mint, the 1988 D penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse of the coin features the iconic portrait of President Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has stood the test of time for more than a century. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro, serves as a detailed tribute to one of the nation's most important monuments, and if you look closely, you can even see a tiny representation of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. The 1988 D penny was struck in large quantities for circulation, made primarily from a copper-plated zinc composition that replaced the earlier bronze alloy in 1982. This change in metal content was made to reduce production costs, but it also meant that the coins became more prone to wear, corrosion, and plating bubbles over time. While the vast majority of 1988 D pennies still found in pocket change are only worth their face value, certain rare varieties and high-grade examples can be worth a substantial amount of money. Among these, some rare mint errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, and transitional design features, have been highly sought after by collectors. One of the most famous and valuable varieties associated with the 1988 D penny is the so-called close AM reverse. This is a design variety where the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse is noticeably closer than normal. It happened due to the accidental use of a proof coin reverse die on some business strike pennies, making these coins extremely rare. This small design difference might seem insignificant to the average person, but for experienced numismatists, it represents a major discovery and a key factor that can push the coin's value into the thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on condition. Another factor that drives up the value of certain 1988 D Lincoln pennies is their condition and grade. Coins graded by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC in the top mint state or proof-like grades can command huge premiums in the market. A regular 1988 D penny in circulated condition might only fetch a few cents, but an uncirculated example with a grade of MS67 or higher, especially if it has full red luster and no visible marks, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. When combined with a rare variety or a dramatic mint error, these coins can become true treasures. The current market has shown strong interest in rare and high-grade Lincoln cents, with some exceptional 1988 D examples selling for astounding prices at auction. One such coin, an extremely rare high-grade variety in pristine condition with a desirable error, has fetched a jaw-dropping $1.12 million, making it one of the most expensive Lincoln Memorial cents ever sold. This price reflects not just the rarity of the coin, but also the passion and competition among top collectors who are willing to pay enormous amounts to own the finest known specimens. The story of the 1988 D penny is also a reminder of how important it is to carefully examine the coins you come across in everyday transactions. That seemingly ordinary penny you get as change could turn out to be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery worth a fortune. Collectors recommend using a magnifying glass to check for key features such as the close AM reverse, double dies, die clashes, and other anomalies. It is also important to preserve coins properly by storing them in protective holders to maintain their condition and avoid damage. In the broader context of American coinage, the 1988 D penny represents a transitional era when the Lincoln Memorial design was still dominant, but the numismatic community was increasingly turning its attention to subtle varieties and mint errors. This focus on detail has transformed common coins into valuable collectibles and has kept the hobby exciting for both seasoned collectors and newcomers. The thrill of the hunt, combined with the potential for significant financial reward, makes coins like the 1988 D Lincoln penny highly desirable. Whether you are a serious collector, a casual hobbyist, or someone just starting to explore the world of coins, the 1988 D Lincoln penny is a perfect example of why numismatics continues to inspire curiosity and excitement. Its history, its place in the Lincoln cent series, its potential for rare and valuable varieties, and the astonishing market prices it can achieve all come together to tell a story of hidden value and unexpected treasure. The next time you come across a penny from 1988 with the Denver mint mark, take a closer look. You might just be holding a coin worth far more than a single cent, perhaps even a piece that could one day fetch over $1 million. The 2001 D Lincoln 1-cent penny is one of those coins that at first glance might look like just another common penny from your pocket change, but in reality, some rare examples of this coin have sold for incredible amounts of money. Minted in Denver, the 2001 D penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series which was in production from 1959 to 2008. This coin features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner on the obverse, a design that has been used on the cent since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, with the small statue of Lincoln visible between the columns if you look closely with a magnifying glass. In terms of history, the 2001 D penny is interesting because it was produced at a time when the United States Mint was still striking coins in massive quantities for circulation. Billions of these coins were made, so in normal circumstances they are extremely common and worth only face value. However, What makes certain 2001D pennies worth a fortune is a combination of extremely high-grade preservation and rare mint errors. Collectors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for coins that are unique, in pristine condition, or have striking mistakes made during the minting process. One of the most important factors in determining value is the coin's grade. A regular circulated 2001D penny found in your change will usually be worth just 1 cent. But if you have a coin that has never been used, kept in a protective holder since it was minted, and graded by a professional service as mint state 69 or higher, the value can increase dramatically. Top-grade coins are so flawless that under magnification you will see virtually no scratches, marks, or blemishes. The luster will be brilliant and the details razor-sharp. These are the coins that auction houses fight over, because advanced collectors want only the best examples in their sets. Then there are error coins, which can turn an ordinary penny into a treasure. A famous and highly sought-after type of error is the double die, where the coin's design elements appear doubled because of a misalignment in the minting process. There are also off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the blank planchet was not aligned correctly. Broad strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and coins struck on the wrong metal planchet are all examples of rare errors that can be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions depending on rarity and demand. Some 2001D pennies with dramatic mint errors and perfect condition have been valued at up to $1.9 million in today's market. The current market for rare coins is very strong, with collectors willing to pay record prices for key dates, high grades, and unusual errors. This is partly because coins are tangible pieces of history that cannot be replicated exactly, and partly because the best examples are genuinely scarce. For the 2001D penny, that means if you find a coin that is in pristine uncirculated condition or has a rare error, you may be holding something that could sell for life-changing money. Professional coin grading services such as PCGS or NGC can authenticate and grade your coin, which is essential if you want to sell it to serious collectors. It is worth noting that not all shiny pennies are valuable. Many coins that appear perfect to the naked eye may still have tiny flaws that lower their grade and value. That is why using magnification, proper lighting, and professional evaluation is important before assuming your coin is rare. But every once in a while, a collector or even an ordinary person searching through change will find a coin so unique that it becomes a headline story in the numismatic world. That is exactly what happened with a 2001D Lincoln penny in pristine condition with a rare striking error, which sold for an astonishing $1.9 million at auction. So if you have a jar of old coins at home, it might be worth taking a closer look at your pennies, especially the 2001D Lincoln cents. Examine them carefully for any signs of doubling, misstrikes, unusual coloration, or flawless surfaces. You never know if one of those coins could be the next record-breaking treasure. The combination of historical design, modern minting, and the possibility of ultra-rare examples makes the 2001D penny a fascinating piece for collectors and a reminder that sometimes the smallest coins can hold the biggest value. The 2011 Lincoln 1-cent penny may seem like just another modern coin you might find in your change jar or pocket, but some examples of this penny have shocked collectors and coin experts with their incredible rarity, fascinating history, and astonishing value. In fact, one special 2011 penny has sold for as much as $1.6 million in the current coin market, proving that even coins from our recent past can hold hidden treasures. Today we are going to take a deep dive into the story, history, and details of the 2011 Lincoln penny, explain what makes certain examples so valuable, and show you exactly why you should never overlook the pennies you come across every day. The Lincoln 1-cent coin has been a part of American coinage since 1909. First introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the decades, the coin has gone through several design changes, from the original wheat reverse to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959, and later to the shield reverse in 2010. The 2011 penny features this shield reverse design, representing the unity of the United States with a bold single shield symbol, 13 stripes, and a banner inscribed with the words 1 cent. On the obverse, the classic profile of Abraham Lincoln remains, designed by Victor David Brenner, making it instantly recognizable as part of the long Lincoln cent legacy. The 2011 penny was struck in huge quantities at both the Philadelphia Mint, which produced coins without a mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which used the D Mint mark. These coins are made from copper-plated zinc, weighing 2.5 grams and measuring 19 millimeters in diameter. While most of the 2011 pennies are worth only their face value in circulation, there are rare varieties and high-grade examples that are worth far more. And in one extraordinary case, a unique 2011 Lincoln cent sold for $1.6 million due to its incredible condition, mint error, and historical significance combined. Collectors are often on the lookout for pennies with errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchet strikes, or coins struck with proof dies intended for collector sets but somehow released into circulation. Even tiny imperfections or variations can cause the value to skyrocket. For example, a 2011 penny that was perfectly preserved in pristine mint state condition, graded MS-70 by a professional grading service, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars to collectors who demand perfection. However, the $1 million example combined this perfect condition with a rare and dramatic mint error, making it a once-in-a-lifetime find. The historical importance of the 2011 penny also comes from its place in the timeline of American coinage. It was only the second year of the shield reverse design, which replaced the Lincoln Memorial after more than 50 years. This change symbolized a new era in the cent's design, paying tribute to the preservation of the Union that Abraham Lincoln fought for during the Civil War. Collectors appreciate these transitional-era coins, especially when they appear in flawless condition or with special errors that make them stand out from the billions of other coins produced. That if you are wondering whether you might have a valuable 2011 penny in your own collection, here's what to look for. First, check for the mint mark. Coins from both Philadelphia and Denver can be valuable if they are in exceptional condition or contain errors. Second, examine the coin carefully for signs of doubling in the date or lettering, unusual textures in the fields, or any misalignment in the strike. Third, the condition matters greatly. A coin in brilliant uncirculated or proof-like quality will always command more attention and value than a worn example. The coin market today is full of surprises, and values can shift quickly depending on collector demand and the availability of rare examples. While an average circulated 2011 penny will still be worth just 1 cent, rare error coins, high-grade mint state pieces, and unique varieties can sell for hundreds, thousands, or in rare cases, over $1 million. That $1.6 million sale stands as proof that modern coins can reach legendary status if the right combination of rarity, condition, and collector excitement comes together. So, the next time you get a penny in change, don't toss it aside or drop it in a jar without a second look. Take the time to inspect it under good lighting, maybe even with a magnifying glass, because you never know when you might be holding an extraordinary treasure. The 2011 Lincoln 1-cent penny is a perfect reminder that valuable coins aren't always ancient or old, they can be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with a keen eye to discover their true worth. With one already fetching $1.6 million in the market, there's always a chance another could be out there, ready to change someone's life forever. If you keep searching, stay informed, and learn what to look for, you might just be the next lucky person to find one of these rare and valuable modern treasures. Keep your eyes open, because history and fortune could be hiding in your pocket right now.